Hi, everyone. Tonight we're going to be talking about female genital mutilation. It's not a comfortable topic, but it is a very important one. FGM, or female genital mutilation, also known as female genital cutting, there are many different types, including elongation or stretching and piercing, scraping, other different forms of damage to the female genital organs, is a type of persecution. It's a very harmful practice that happens to different groups of women and girls around the world, and it is a basis for asylum. And I come across a lot of women, both young and old, who already have pending asylum cases, and they had no idea that this type of harm that was done to them was important for their asylum case. So I want to bring this up tonight. I want to talk about some of the details, both for men and women, to keep in mind, because even if you're a man and even if you're not ever going to be subjected to FGM, your wife may have been, or you may be trying to protect your daughter from that, and you may be subjected to harm from trying to stop your family or community from harming your daughter. So I'm going to go through this, and if you have questions, please let me know. Thanks to those who are joining. Hi, Rebel and Ernesto, thank you for joining. And this is a very sensitive topic. If you do have questions that you want answered privately, please feel free to email us or send us a message on our Facebook chat message, instant message, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So again, as I mentioned, there are quite a few different types of female genital mutilation. There's cutting of various parts. There is also stretching or elongation, piercing, scraping, lots of different forms of physical harm that's done to the female organs as a result of cultural expectations or desires, needs, wants by the community and trying to control women, whether that be because they think it is for the better, or because they want to limit their sexual activity before marriage, or they just think it's a beautiful thing. All of these things can be very harmful and are usually very harmful for the woman who experiences them. It can be done at a young age. The child may be a baby. They may not even remember the procedure. Or it may happen later in life, maybe just before marriage, maybe just after marriage. No matter when it happens, it's still considered persecution. It's still a type of very severe harm that was done because of someone's gender, and asylum may be granted because of it. So it's very important that you tell your attorney or the person who's helping you with your case. Not all attorneys know to ask about female genital mutilation in any form. They don't know the statistics. They don't realize how widely practiced it is amongst certain ethnic groups or certain countries. And sometimes, honestly, they're just very uncomfortable asking. So they expect that you may bring this up to them. That, in my opinion, is malpractice. Any attorney who practices asylum law should be asking every female client if she has experienced or is fearful of being subjected to FGM. But it is important for you to know that you may have to advocate for yourself. Your attorney may not ask, and you may have to get over the very uncomfortable feeling of bringing this up and talking to your attorney about it. So the other important part of this is be prepared to talk about it. If you feel like you need to talk to a female attorney, if once your interview comes up and you want a female officer, if you want a female doctor to be the one who examined you, ask for that. But it is extremely important that you are able to talk about it. One, if you remember the day of, if you remember the incident, then that is very important information. Not everyone remembers the actual day of if they were too young to remember, but if you do remember, being able to discuss those details and write them down is very important. But also, what is just as important as the day of and what you remember from the time it happening is how it's continued to impact you throughout your life. through your childhood, through your teen years, through your womanhood, through your marriage, through pregnancy, through births, because FGM has many, many different impacts, both physical and emotional and psychological, as you go on through life. Many types of infections that are reoccurring, many types of issues during pregnancy or during birth that women don't realize may be related to the FGM that they experienced. It's all very important. So the more you get comfortable with the idea of having to talk about these details, even if you don't know if they're related or not, it's better for your case to be able to talk about the details, because the asylum officer is going to look at both what happened and what continues to happen and how you continue to be impacted by this very harmful practice. So if you filed your asylum case already and this was not included, please immediately update your case. Don't wait until the day of your interview or the day of your court hearing. The decision maker could actually find that you missed your 1-year filing deadline because FGM wasn't included. At least they could look at the FGM part specifically as an additional or new application. And you need an explanation for why that was not included. For a lot of you, the reason it was not included will be because your attorney failed to ask you and your attorney committed malpractice. And so therefore you need to notify the asylum office or the court as soon as possible so that you can still use this as a piece to your asylum case. Also, if you filed for asylum many years ago and your case was denied, but you didn't include FGM and you're just now finding out that this is a basis, please seek a consultation with an asylum attorney, because you may be able to reopen your case and you may be able to be granted asylum. Now, one of the reasons that including this as a part of your case is so important is because fear of future FGM under a lot of circumstances, and certainly the past harm of FGM, is, I can't say 100% guaranteed grant, because some decision makers still make really bad choices and really bad decisions. But if it's appealed, it's very likely going to be approved. But it is an extremely strong case. I've personally never had an FGM case denied. Occasionally, the asylum office will refer these to court based on very faulty legal reasoning. However, once they're in court, they're granted. Judges don't usually even take testimony. They just go based on a medical report and the medical documentation. So that's why it's so important, is because if you've never been arrested or detained, if you've never been harmed, if you don't have fear for any other reason, but you were subjected to FGM, you could still be granted asylum. Also, for men who are married to women who were subjected to FGM, even if you were the primary applicant and you've already filed your asylum case, but your wife is here in the US and she was subjected to FGM, she may want to file her own case now and include you as a dependent, because her case is very strong. And if both of you have pending cases, then that gives both of you an additional chance at an approved asylum case. So it's very important to think about this, to consider it, to share this information in your communities. Like I said, I know it's not a very comfortable topic. It is very taboo, I know, in most to talk about this, especially among friends and other people. However, this is your life at stake. And this is a very strong type of asylum case. So do talk about it. Do reach out if you have questions, and do seek a consultation if you think you may be eligible, or if you've experienced FGM, or if you believe and fear that there is a very strong chance that you would be subjected to it if you go home. Similar types of harm to FGM that I see very commonly is also forced marriage. So among a lot of my client population who have been subjected to female genital mutilation in some form, have also been subjected to forced marriage. And this is also a type of harm that could make you eligible for asylum. So those details are worth discussing too. Again, a lot of attorneys may not look at your history and say, oh, you're married. Was this a marriage of choice, or were you forced into this marriage against your will? This is very, very important information. So once again, even if your attorney doesn't ask, even if the asylum officer doesn't ask, even if you did not include this on your initial application, it is very important information, very important to share, and could lead to a grant for your asylum case. Now, if anyone has any questions, I'm going to check the comments. I hope the volume's been okay. Someone mentioned something about the volume. I believe that's what is there. If the volume isn't clear, I may need to re-record it, and which I will do. All right, thanks everyone. I hope this was very helpful. Please reach out if you have questions, if you need a consultation, and we will be back again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Thank you.